Representative Richardson.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'll be very brief again. I just want to respond to Representative Smith because many of the reasons that he argues his side of the issue are precisely the reasons why I think we should come to the opposite conclusion. There's no question that gay couples have the right to adopt and raise children. No one is suggesting that that right be taken away. It is in the best interest of those children that they grow up in a married household between two adults. It makes no sense at all to me to think that loving couples who choose to have a stable relationship to raise children could not be allowed to do that in a married situation, whether it's two men or two women or a heterosexual relationship. I would say again, it's very important to distinguish religious rights from what legitimate interests the state has. So the state has a legitimate interest in seeing that children get raised in stable relationships. It has a legitimate interest in the contractual duties to support a spouse to raise children and so forth. It has absolutely no right to impose one group's religious beliefs on other groups. As Representative Weber said, I happen to belong to a church that condones and encourages marriage, whether it be between gay couples or heterosexual couples. And it is highly offensive to me personally to have some people think that they can impose their religious beliefs on my family and my religion. Just cut it out. Get out of my life. Okay? I don't seek to impose my religious beliefs on you. Please don't impose your religious beliefs on me. And I have to say, Representative Elliott, I found your remarks incredibly offensive.
Objection. No parliamentary inquiry. I asked the chair to rule that remark out of order as being a personal attack.
I'll withdraw the remark.
That remark is out of order. Is there any further discussion? Representative O'Brien.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman, the representative from Walpole raises a question that I would like to answer. She says, I can't see how this the same-gender marriage weakens marriage that sustains children. I ask her to put herself in the place where she goes past what we see as an extreme to another extreme, where we would have multiple member marriages beyond two, or you'd have marriages between people of biological relationship, all of which, by the way, are being proposed by some of the same groups who brought forth this legislation. Do you see perhaps how that might weaken marriage? Because we clearly see how this weakens marriage that sustains children. And with regards to the remarks that I heard that the retirement plan might somehow be challenged under federal law and weakened, and if we were to pass this legislation, there are those who look at the Federal Defense of Marriage Act and say that what we did last year challenges the tax-exempt status of our retirement plan already. So if that's a concern, then address it by passing this bill. And finally, with regard to the concern voiced by the representative from Hopkinton that we're imposing religious beliefs on him, hardly are we doing this. You have heard very little argument here. What you hear is a cultural and a social argument that we are weakening our marriages incrementally as we've done over the last 40 years. We've gone from around 2 to 3% of our children being born out of wedlock to now we're up around 35% for society in general and 70% for our minority community. We see the social pathology that results from that. We are going to see more of it as we enact and refuse to revoke radical measures such as this.
Any further discussion? The motion is expedient. Representative Hackle.
Thank you, Chairman. I just want to go officially on record as saying that I'm strongly in favor of marriage. I think children should be brought up in a relationship that has two committed people that can care and take care of them. And whether the two committed people be of same sex or different sex, is irrelevant to the importance of marriage and the caring for children.
Representative DeFrucia.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Let me point out that I'm concerned about the words normal. Thank you. You are welcome. Thank you. I expect that.
As welcome as the humor is.
Well, I would expect something like that because of the 110 or so people that call me.
Representative DeFrucia, let's
I'm
get to the motion.
getting to it. I'm defining normal if I can. Seems I'm having difficulty at this committee, but nonetheless. The point, I think, is clear that over 40 years ago, DSM, which is the diagnostic survey, indicated very simply that that homosexual relationships were not normal, and therefore treatment takes place. Well, that's proven to be incorrect. What's also proven to be incorrect is that the earth is not the center of the universe. What's also proven to be incorrect is that the statistics belie the truth, the amount of children born out of wedlock. So I simply point out to the question asked in the Supreme Court in California, what's happened as a result of same-sex marriage? Nothing at all. Nothing. And what's occurred now is that we're now taking a position of trying to say what should be normal in the bedroom. I hope we kill this bill once and for all.
Representative Meade.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This debate, despite all of the different viewpoints we hear, is all about a word, and it's the word marriage. The fact that we've bestowed, and the state has taken it on themselves, to say that anyone who wants to be together can in fact be married, is all about a word. It doesn't bestow any legal rights beyond what civil unions already bestowed a term ago. The argument was we need the same civil rights as every other married couple. We did that with civil unions, but that wasn't enough. It was, we now want the word marriage to be accepted, actually to force those who are married to accept us as also married. Not a civil union, not a loving relationship, but the term marriage. And we as legislators have no right to bestow a religious term, which is the term marriage from time beginning, into our law to assign it to anybody who wants it, whether it be 2 men, 2 women, 3 women, 2 men, 5 women, 5 men, and a dog. That's totally wrong for this legislature to impose that word upon the social conscience and the social fabrics of this state.
Representative Silva.
Yeah, we hear talk of this, and the religion thing I didn't really hear come up, but we hear talk about children all the time. I'll be 50, I've raised 4 kids, I'll be 50 in a few weeks. And if anybody here wishing to have kids can tell me that this is a better place to raise kids right now than it was when I was a kid, no one can deny it's changed. And a lot of that's because there's politically correct things we go through, that we have to be careful what we say because it's going to offend certain groups and we're going to get in trouble for it. The morality in this country has changed drastically, where we can't have our kid go across the street and want to have dinner in the sun with the neighbors. Everyone's going to know where everybody is. They've got to have mom and dad at Little League things, at everything. And we're just, the whole society, I think, starts with all these moral issues. This is a moral thing. Forget religion. You want to talk about children, would you rather raise your kids in the 60s and 70s when I grew up or today? Tell me that.
Any further discussion on the motion of inexpedient to legislate on House Bill 1590? Seeing none, the clerk will call the roll.
You state the motion, please.
Motion is inexpedient to legislate.
Wall?
Yes.
Potter?
Yes.
Hackle?
Yes.
Preston, yes. Richardson?
Yes.
Weber?
Yes.
Nixon?
Yes.
Thompson?
Yes.
Watrous?
Yes.
Reed?
Yes.
Rowe?
No.
Elliott?
No.
DeFrucia?
Yes.
Meade?
No.
O'Brien?
No.
Kagan?
No.
Perkins?
No.
Silva?
No.
Smith?
No.
Cody?
Yes.
I believe that's 12.
I'm sorry, what was the...
Vote was 12 to 8.
Thank you.
Inexpedient to legislate. we will take a brief recess.